I'm not sure who's seen this right now, but Shaq's currently got a docuseries about like the rebirth of Reebok right now. And it's actually a really interesting watch, and it's a really cool watch to see like the brand go back to its roots and try and find their voice. But part of the show centers around Shaq and Allen Iverson like finding new talent to represent Reebok, similar to how they did in the '90s. And it's like had me thinking, what if there was like a shoe brand that came to Australia and tried to get like NBL players to represent them to try and get their brand awareness out and everything. Also, kind of similar how Montrezl Harrell is signed with Reebok in like as an ambassador kind of thing. But instead, we're going to look at like other NBL players. I know there are the obvious. There's like the imports. You have like the Kendrick Davis, Bryce Cotton, Montrezl Harrell. Like they're probably the obvious three players. But I wanted to focus on the actual Australians playing in the NBL right now. So I've come up with like a list of the top three players. I would love to hear other people's thoughts and like other players that they think should be these representatives. First up, I'm going to go with the young gun, Lockie Aubrey. It's looking like he's going to be a late second round pick in the draft right now. Like he's looking like he's in that 50 to 60 kind of range, and a lot of people are thinking he's going to be a draft and stash kind of player, similar to how Luke Travers was a few years ago. So I think that kind of buzz around him would be like a good match if like a shoe brand came to him. It's like, hey, be one of our representatives, something like a Reebok thing. That would be cool. Reebok, you should sign Lockie Aubrey. So he'd probably be like the first player I would try and go after if I was one of these shoe companies. The second is the former MVP, Sydney Kings star Xavier Cooks. I know there's been some controversy around his name, but who doesn't love like a little bounce back story and everything? I think he's probably got one of the biggest Australian names right now. Like you could also go with Delhi. I feel like Delhi's another good option, but I think he's in that bit of older range where I think they kind of need somebody in their prime, which I think Xavier Cooks is right now. And the fact that he has played in the NBA, he's played for the Australian Boomers, like he's one of the biggest Australian names still in the NBL. He's also on one of the largest contracts, so I feel like that would be a good way for like a brand to want to use him as one of their like people. And the third name I came up with was Dash Daniels, the one of the youngest players coming into the NBL, like what the next star. He's got all the hype around him. He's looking like he could be a top 10 pick and everything. Like a lot of part of the documentary they talk about is going after these high school phenoms, trying to get them in young, try to get them in before they're going to college, and they've got to stick with like all the Nike and the Adidas brands. So I think getting somebody like him who is just coming to professional basketball, who hasn't really had a lot of these offers yet, he would be like one of those go-to players because there's going to be a lot of eyes on Dash Daniels right now, especially after seeing how good Dyson is, and that could also just try to be a link to try to get both brothers eventually. But those were the top three names that I thought of. I also thought of like a DJ Vasiljevic. You've got like some of the Melbourne United, like all these other players, but they're the three that I went with. Let me know in the comments who you would have gone with, and try not to go with the imports because I feel like the imports are the easier way to go. But like the Aussie talent is like where I'm really leaning into on this.